My name is Christina and I'm 18 years old. And this is my story.
Hey, you know what?
I'm from California. I lived in an abandoned house in San Bernardino for about 5 years of my life. A lot of drug use and molestation was happening in the household. A little after I turned 5, I got taken away from my mom. And I got adopted by foster care. Well, I was in foster care for a little while, and then they found family, which is my oldest brother and his wife, and they adopted me. When I went to go live with them, I had a lot of anger and emotional problems, and when I went to go live with them, things were okay for a little while, and then when I was 11 years old, I guess the best way to put it is I was violated by a relative, a real close relative that I trusted a lot. And then when I turned 12, my adoptive grandfather, I dressed kind of promiscuous because I didn't have really much self-esteem at all. After what I'd been through, I didn't really care about myself. And I just dressed promiscuous and didn't really care. And then my adoptive grandfather was like, oh, it's okay, you know what I mean, you're not blood related and stuff like that. I told my mom, my dad didn't believe me. They said they thought I was just trying to hurt the family and tear the family apart. So I went into group homes and everything from then. When I was 13, I started doing prostitution, and I got into drugs when I tried meth my first time when I was 11 because my real dad had died of a heroin overdose. And when I was 13 and I'm running away from all my group homes and everything, and I started getting into prostitution. I got harder into meth. I actually started doing meth. I only tried it once, and I started actually doing it when I was 13. Did it all the time and started drinking and partying and got taken advantage of a lot because I was in a lot of places where grown people were, and I was only 14, and a lot of people didn't know my real age because of the way I acted and the way I dressed, and you know what I mean. So I was just on the run for a while, things like that, and then got to a point to where eventually I went to a lockup facility because I was being self-destructive, and I went to juvenile hall and everything because I kept on messing up and doing things I wasn't supposed to. And I eventually started giving up because I felt like, what's the point in caring about myself when no one else cares about me? I felt like no one else really cared because the people who I loved a lot, which was my mom, my dad, who I thought would believe me, I didn't think they would react the way they reacted. I thought they would actually believe me and try to help the whole situation, but they reacted a completely different way. And my grandma was my best friend, and she just stopped speaking to me completely because of what I said about my grandfather. And a lot of my cousins stopped wanting to talk to me. My brothers didn't talk to me for a while. Now I only have one brother talking to me, and that's only on Facebook. He still lives in California. I just went through a whole lot to a point to where I started giving up because I went through so much, and then I became a prostitute because I didn't care about myself. I really didn't. I had no love for myself at all because I felt like that's all I was worth in life was my body, because for some reason things kept on happening to me and I didn't know why. And I just kept on getting hurt, and I didn't see why I kept on getting hurt in life. And then I started not believing God, but even though I had been to church growing up, after I had gotten adopted, my adopted parents were church people, and then they eventually became pastors. But I grew up in a church, I guess you could say, from the age of 7, right after I started getting adopted and everything. I grew up in church pretty much, for the most part, but I started not believing because I felt like if God really existed, why does all these things keep on happening to me? But eventually I had to realize it's not God, the reason why all the things keep on happening to me. But I went through a lot to a point to where I gave up, and then I went to a lockup facility till I turned 18. I aged out when I turned 18, and I had nowhere to go. I was out of the system and everything at 18. I had nothing, there was nothing really anybody could do for me. My mom and my dad weren't talking to me, so I had nowhere to go because I didn't have any family that would take me in. So I came to Colorado, Denver, Colorado, because when I got out of the lockup facility that was in St. George, Utah, because they put me out of state, they told me there were resources here, and I came here. And ever since I came here, there's been I've gotten a lot of help since I came here. I'm working on housing right now. I've been in and out of shelters. I've been from camping out to sleeping on the streets and everything, because it's easier said than done. People say, why don't the street kids get a job? Because when you're on the streets, it's a lot harder to try to keep a job. And a lot of people, it's hard to stay in shelters, and sometimes there's not even beds in shelters. A lot of times beds are full. So it's actually a lot easier said than done for things like that. And so right now I'm working on housing and everything, and I'm pregnant and I'm still with my baby's dad and everything, and I plan on we plan on getting married eventually. I'm trying to keep myself together, my life together. And so far I've been doing really good, actually. I'm actually doing a lot better now, and working myself off the streets. But yeah, I'm on the streets right now. I've been on the streets since March pretty much. I've been here and there staying at friends and stuff like that. But For the most part, I stay on the streets and camp out, and I don't look like it. I take care of myself. It took a lot of counseling, a lot of things that made me care about myself, but now it's just, I'm actually getting a lot better. And after I got pregnant, that's what made me realize, okay, I can't just sit on the streets and do this and do that. Like, I can't just be lazy or take my time on doing what I need to get done. I actually have a priority that I need to take care of, and it's not just me anymore. So I kind of had to get things ready, but I think I've learned that there's always still hope out there. It's your choice to give up, because I've been through rape, molestation, living on the streets and being a prostitute, not caring about myself, to everything, to losing my whole family. I lost all my family, you know what I mean, because of something that I said about my grandfather. They still don't believe till this very day, and so my thing is, I'm not really worrying about that, you know what I mean. I learned to forgive and move on, and that's just, he's the one that's gonna suffer, you know, not me. So my thing is, it's like it's my family's loss, you know, because I'm a really good person. I had a lot of problems, but I'm actually a really good person, you know what I mean, and now I'm a lot better person than I was. So for me, I think that what I learned is, I learned to love myself and not give up, and actually realize there's hope out there. There's actually people that really do care about me.